Hey everybody, and welcome to a brand new installment of Nintendo News Report for Saturday, September 24th, 2016. Our first morning edition of the show, I think. I'm Alex Kalafi. Joining me for a two-man show, we got the famous Donald Terrio, Canada's
You know,
very own.
yeah, I'm kind of thinking I should have like a sound effects bar on this thing just to
They
really.
exist. I might actually be able to find one. Google effects. Let's see what I can. Uh, when does Hangout stop working?
Uh, I think it's just built. I think it's basically going to transition into YouTube anyway, so we
Yeah.
should be good for that.
Okay. Nice. Let's see what else we got.
Well,
Uh,
welcome to the morning zoo, folks.
we got the NX, which is either going to be or, and then we also got those are all the sound effects we have. I gotta take the dog off because I can't do a full show in a dog mask.
We'll have to work on
So
something for
this will
that for
work
Halloween.
instead. No. Okay. So let's see what we got today. We got some Pokemon stuff to talk about, obviously, as this is a Pokemon news report. We got Paper Mario. We're talking about that whole goofy story. And the first thing we're talking about this week is NX stuff, because some stuff happened related to the NX this week, and I thought it was actually pretty huge news. We got two stories. We got Ubisoft, who Yves Guillemot spoke out about the support and shared thoughts on Nintendo's upcoming NX, while he's CEO of Ubisoft and not president of Ubisoft for what is it, Vivendi? Who's like about to
Yeah.
take them over? Yeah.
Well, yeah. I think that board meeting is in the next couple of weeks to determine if Vivendi will be in there.
Oh, because like I think the biggest thing with Vivendi was they were trying to figure out, or they were trying to get in like as board representation, which is the first step to a hostile takeover.
Yep. And I think Vivendi's already amassed a good portion of the stock. If not, I don't know if they're the largest shareholder at this point, but they're one of the largest, if not.
They might have 20% right now. During a Ubisoft presentation attended by GameStop today, Guillermo discussed disruptions in the hardware business, of which there are many right now. They got the new Xbox Ones, the PS4s, NX, and VR. But we got new consoles coming, which is interesting. Regarding NX, he said, the new Nintendo console is a fantastic machine. It is really a new approach. It is really Nintendo, which is coming with something new again. We love it, which ties into. They also have a few games in development, it looks like. But it sounds like they were just. The Ubisoft statements were just like slightly fluff related. It
Yeah.
felt like.
I mean, Ubisoft will support anything when it first comes out. I mean, they were the major Western third party that stuck around the longest on the Wii U, as my copy of Watch Dogs for Wii U will demonstrate. But they like to get in early, and if they make money, they'll continue to support the platform. I mean, we know they have Just Dance. They announced that at E3 that it was coming out at launch, but I'm really curious what those other games are, but it's hard to really say they're doing anything because we don't know any of the titles, unless it's like, I mean, in an ideal world, it's Assassin's Creed 20 whatever and Beyond Good and Evil 2, but this isn't an ideal world.
Did they say how many games they have in development for the NX?
I think the number that I saw being bandied about was 4, and we know that one of them is Just Dance. So 3 over and above
So
that.
let's play a game, Donald. I have as far as I know, what are probably the biggest third-party publishers in the West. The three big ones. You got EA, you got Activision, and you got Ubisoft. I'm gonna have you guess which company is worth the most in order. Rank them 1 through 3. I have the answers right here. Wait, let me see. Revenue. I'm going to be doing this based on. Oh, let me see if I can get total assets for
Yeah,
Total
because
assets for them. And I have total assets I can't find.
okay.
But for
They
Ubisoft, it's yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, for basing it on revenue, I'd probably go Activision, EA, Ubi. But
Oh,
for what they would mean to the platform, I almost think EA would be the biggest get because they were the first to get out of the Wii U, and especially in Europe with FIFA and in the US with Madden, you really need those franchises to be considered a legit platform.
right. Uh, as far as I know, I'm actually kind of surprised by this. Activision is still the most valuable. It looks like they're worth about 14 billion as of the most recent numbers on this Wikipedia article, which are 2014. So almost 15 billion. EA, their total assets are at about 10 billion as of 2015, and Ubisoft is only a few billion. I think Sega Sammy might actually be worth more than Ubisoft.
It
Uh,
doesn't surprise me. I mean, but Ubisoft has a lot of expenses too because they employ a lot of people. Like
right.
if you've ever tried to sit through the credits on a Ubisoft game, you know that they have a lot of people working on their games.
Some Assassin's Creed games. Like I remember sitting through the credits in Assassin's Creed 3. One of the things I like to do when I play games, I like to watch the credits in their entirety, or not even watch them, just leave them on almost out of respect to the people who made it. And doing that to an Assassin's Creed game is about a 45-minute commitment to the point where there will be save points at various points in an Assassin's Creed credits. And I'm not joking about that. The Assassin's Creed 3, when I played that, like you could actually see like the autosave indicator going off at like various intervals, which I don't know what they were trying to do. Yeah.
Just in case something crashes, at least you can pull back up.
Right where you left off at South Korean translation. Yeah. Okay. The other interesting thing that happened, which is the much bigger news, is that the Pokemon company, kind of accidentally said what the NX is, and it was kind of a big story, but not as big of a story as it should have been. Because what's it called? We all assumed forever it would be something related to the relationship between handheld games and console games. However, they end up doing it. That's something we thought was going on since like 2014. And there were all the rumors that came out for the NX. The Pokemon company, Ishihara, who's the guy who like almost looks like Tajiri. A lot of people confuse him for Satoshi Tajiri, but he's actually like the Pokemon Company CEO. He said that there are Pokemon games in development for the NX, which is a good thing because Pokken Tournament, which counts as a Pokemon game, we didn't know it was a Wii U game officially until last year.
And then it came out 8 months later. So, I mean, Pokemon Company, they'll have games usually on every Nintendo system, whether console or handheld. It's a question of is this enough of a portable that they'd want to put the big ones, the mainline games, on the NX?
Well, if it's Nintendo's only console presence, they won't have much of a choice.
Fair enough. But because I know that they love to have like the ability to play the game on like bring your world with you, essentially, I think is the term they use. So if the rumors that are coming out, I mean, we had a fake Foxconn leak last night of this thing is a portable that docks, then that's a natural place for the mainline games to end up.
And the bigger news is that Ishihara said, let's see what the quote is. The NX is trying to change the concept of what it means to be a home console device or a handheld device. We will make games for the NX. A lot of people don't realize this because we've been hit by rumors so fiercely, but we didn't actually officially know what the NX was before he said this. We had no confirmation whatsoever other than it was going to be different and it was going to have its own gimmick. We had no idea factually that it was going to be about the relationship between home consoles and handheld consoles.
So does that mean we have to retire the Siren now?
It's still going to exist until they do their ultimate reveal in like early December. You know what? You know what's going to be the next big news? That the NX won't be coming out until summer.
Well,
I think the NX is going to get delayed.
Yeah, because there was the tale of them entering, I think, trial production this week to make sure that they would have units. If that's the case, and those units meet Nintendo quality standards, and they could probably start producing in a few weeks and possibly have, like, I think the drop dead date for a public reveal of the NX is going to be Nintendo's next shareholders meet or Nintendo's next financial release, which I think is October 26th. I want to say. So
that's fair.
Yeah, if we don't have anything by then, it's going to have some sort of measurable impact on their financials, and they're going to have to talk about it, even if it's only to say, by the way, we're pushing this thing back to next year, later next year, out of the fiscal year.
If things happen that lead to the NX coming out next November, I would be crushed, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, some people are already writing it off because it's like this is the shortest time ever for a console between its first reveal and when it actually comes out, if it does come out in March.
Yes.
Because even under the best of circumstances, I think even today, the NX is past the Xbox One. And
what do you mean?
The time between first reveal and final release.
And yes.
So
which is still enough time to do a marketing cycle if they start their marketing cycle and go into full swing literally as soon as the reveal event happens.
Yeah.
But they're up against a deadline. They gotta be. What are they gonna launch with other than Zelda? They gotta advertise the 10 or whatever games they're gonna put out. Zelda's not enough if it's also coming out on a Wii U.
Well, really though, how many people are going to realistically buy that Zelda game on Wii U, especially since they still have the card of, oh, there was a random bug in the Wii U version that's not in the NX version, so we're going to have to push that one back a couple of months. You know, they did with Twilight Princess on GameCube.
Right, but I think a lot to when the 3DS came out. In a lot of ways, in my opinion, we didn't really have the first real 3DS game, in my opinion, was Super Mario 3D Land and arguably Kid Icarus Uprising. It took months and months and months for us to get any game that took advantage of the 3DS properly. We had great games. We had Ocarina of Time 3D. The Nintendogs was really good. We had Star Fox. But we didn't have any real games that belonged on the 3DS until, November that 3D Land came out?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And Kid Icarus Uprising came out that following March, and that's how long it took. I don't think the NX can get away with it this time because it sounds like this is going to be Nintendo's one console.
We'll see, but I mean, because we know we're not going to have a Mario. They're not bringing. I think they've said that that's not going to show up until E3 next year. So
when did they say that?
Last year at E3.
Oh, they did?
Yep.
Okay.
But they're going to have. But there's plenty of other things that they could pull out, even if it's like enhanced Smash Brothers port or something, and finally start selling those last 3 Smash Brothers amiibo. I mean, we saw the little picture of Bayonetta this week, but that stuff should have been out by now unless they're holding it back for a new console game.
Yeah, I know fans are chomping at the bit for Corrin. What a ridiculous amiibo. So,
I just want them to get these ones out of the way so they can start doing gender swap versions where it's applicable. I'd like a female Robin and female Corrin, and
a female villager would be good. I'd probably pick that up.
Yeah.
And then I would pick up a male Wii Fit trainer also. I'm trying to think what other ones they have.
I think that would pretty much be it.
some alternate versions of the Smash one. So like when they do Mac reprints, they can do like the wireframe Mac.
Yeah.
They could do some sick amiibo limited editions if they actually wanted to. They would just be custom amiibos, but Nintendo's making it and it gets real packaging.
Yeah, and they're really really expensive.
Someone in the chat says, "What about Fire Emblem Awakening?" Adam Valero says that. When did Fire Emblem Awakening come out? Was that 2012?
2012 in Japan, 2013 for the rest of the world.
Right. Okay. So yeah, Fire Emblem Awakening came out in 2013, which is a fine 3DS game in its own right. Some might even say a great 3DS game. Some might even say one of the best. But Kid Icarus Uprising came out in 2012. Super Mario 3D Land came out in 2011, so a little bit after that. I am excited for an actual console Pokemon to come out. I think we're just about getting to the limit. Because Pokemon Sun and Moon already looks like the approximation of a Pokemon game on console. Like they might as well just make it at this point.
Yeah. Although I think what I don't know if they're going to do, like if this Pokemon game for the NX is going to interact with Sun and Moon in some fashion. Like, are we going to go to Generation 8 right away, or are we just going to sit back and maybe they figured out compatibility for, I don't know, Sinnoh confirmed?
Sinnoh confirmed, I think we have one more generation. I think they're going to do the remakes every 2 generations from now on, which makes a lot of sense. Because I don't even think they were planning on doing Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I think people just wanted it. Yeah.
They needed something to fill in the blanks. But I mean, you wouldn't think they would do remakes until they do remakes, because I know I wasn't exactly chomping at the bit for Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but apparently I was one of the few that didn't care.
For it, or didn't like? Did you like it?
It's a Pokemon game. It's hard to screw those up, but I ended up playing Platinum way more.
I think Heart Gold and Soul Silver, if I was to use the word overrated in any video game in existence, it might be that one. Yeah. Like I think Heart Gold Soul Silver might be the most soulless remake of anything I've ever played. Not counting like in weird indie remakes or like remakes of PC games from like 1995. But Heart Gold, Soul Silver, I don't know. Those games were a bummer to me. They just didn't do it in the same way the originals did. But anyways, yeah. Nintendo says a new kind of Mario is coming. This isn't a new story. This is from E3 last year. I was just looking up what Donald was talking about. We are always challenging ourselves to create something new, so hopefully you'll see a new kind of Mario in about a year or two, Miyamoto said in an interview with IGN, which means they're going to move on from 3D Land and 3D World, which is fantastic news because that concept was worth exactly 2 video games.
Yeah, and they got the 2 games out of it, and those games did really well, all things considered. Yeah. So,
but yeah, I won't launch with it.
Yeah. So
yeah,
Zelda. I mean, yeah. What else do you bring for? But they've probably got something like a pilot, like something that's not in a recognized franchise that would take advantage of this thing, because I mean, a new console launch is a great time to try new properties and try new things.
If I was trying to launch the NX and I had to put out a number of launch games, because one of the things Nintendo says is that they want to have a more consistent flow of games. The way to do it in a world that makes sense, not like putting Pokemon out, would be you got to have Zelda. That'll be Nintendo's big game, even though I'm not a fan of that being their big game. You will have one game. If this is one console that's the handheld hybrid, you will have one game that's normally on a handheld system. Like this would be a great time for new Nintendogs or new Brain Age Academy or Big Brain Academy or another Brain Age or even a Picross game, like one of those kinds of games. And then I think you get something like Nintendo Land or Wii Sports, but like Nintendo Sports. And I think that's how you got to do it. You'll have one party game, you will have Zelda, and you will have one normal handheld game. What would be great is if they put Animal Crossing out on NX, but with the new update, that feels a little bit like a pipe dream to me.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that.
You have any speculation for the NX launch, Donnie?
Probably something similar. Like they may do something different with like they may combine that dedicated handheld game and the party game in some fashion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I think Zelda, if they can get Smash Brothers for launch, I think that would go a long way, especially if there's additional content in it beyond what they had for the Wii U and 3DS.
I think you want Zelda and you want one more really big game. Now, if
Yeah.
they pull a Wii Sports and they have a party game that's on that level, I think that counts.
Yeah.
But if they don't have that, you need at least a Smash Bros. You need something else. You need something else to supplement it.
Yeah. Especially since well, I'm probably going to have to buy an NX at launch anyway, if only to cover it. But my Zelda's still on Wii U, and it's going to stay there unless I can get it for less than $45 Canadian.
Right. Cartridge or disc, do you think? John Nicholas says. It's going to be cartridge. If you think about it, like, they have terabyte flash cards now.
Yeah, SanDisk announced a terabyte SD card this week.
What is it? One of those speculative ones that won't be out until 2018, or does that have a price attached to it?
I think it's speculative, but I mean we're already at 200 gigabytes on commercially available cards, and the way those prices go down quite a bit, it's almost into I should pick one of those up on Boxing Day because I might need to upgrade my 3DS's fridge again in the next 12 months.
Right. Xbox One disc size.
I'm
very curious.
50.
It's a 50 gig limit like the PS3.
PS3 and PS4, they both use. I don't think they've gone to like 4-layer Blu-ray as of yet. I think they're still using 2-layer.
Really?
Yeah.
It's okay.
And
so if it's
each layer, and each layer is 25 gigs. So for a cartridge-based system, I think they've said 32 is the high point, but that could easily change down the road if it warrants it. And certainly Nintendo's games have been pretty small aside from things like Xenoblade. But third parties, they tend to double up. Like they'll double up on the amount of things on the disc simply because disc read times can be a bit of a bear. But I think now depending on how the graphics go, 720p assets are big, but they're not that big that I think you would need a bigger cartridge. And they could always do the Xbox One thing where you download the rest of it anyway.
Right. So I'm looking at some SD cards. Now, this isn't entirely fair because Nintendo's going to have to devote R&D because they got to make their own proprietary card, and then they got to do all sorts of stuff. There will be labor. It'll probably cost a little more than this, but a 32 gigabyte SD card right now goes for about $898. If you go, or $11 is another one. If you go up to 64, and that's SDHC. If you go to 64, that goes to about $20, which I think is in line with how much discs cost now, right? Like those proprietary discs, isn't it like, doesn't it cost about that much to print a PS4, Xbox One game by itself?
I'm not sure. I don't probably be cheaper than that because it's just box standard Blu-ray.
You don't think it's maybe $10, but
yeah. So I think what you're seeing now for like 3DS card prices, though, that's probably going to change. Like that's about what you'd pay for an NX card.
Yeah.
And thankfully the load times would be. There's still load times on 3DS games, but it's not as bad as it would be on some PS4 or Xbox One games that I've heard of.
And cartridges should speed things up, no?
Yeah, that's the point. Nintendo. Yeah. That's the main reason Nintendo stuck with cartridges in the N64 generation instead of moving to CDs at the time, because they were ultra concerned about load times. And well, I don't think you're pulling off Mario 64 on the PlayStation.
Right. I'm just looking at SD cards now. 128 gigabytes is about $40. And then how much for a 200 gigabyte SD card? 256 gigabyte SD card. Because I'm just curious, because it's one of those things where if I'm going to install anything on an NX, I don't use external storage.
Yeah.
I would end up wanting to use something internal. You can get a 256 gigabyte SD card for like $20 in some places. That's crazy.
That may not be good quality, but that's a damn good price. And meanwhile, 64 gig Vita memory cards are still $100 because Sony hates everybody.
I will never have a 64 gigabyte Vita card because they just get more expensive as the Vita dies.
I did the right thing. I bought mine about 2.5 years ago now, and I just use my computer as backup.
Yeah. You know what would be really nice? If they put a Pokemon game on the NX and then they actually do the colored cartridges again.
Yeah. Like I think they got I know why they had to get out of it with the DS cards, especially when you got down to like Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but that would be kind of nice to have those things. It'd be worth me not going all digital on the NX.
Because Nintendo's kind of trying to do that again with like the red Mario boxes, but no one even likes the red Mario boxes because they don't even look good because they did it so much, so there's nothing even special about them anymore. But if they pulled out the colored cartridges again for the NX, that could be real nice. Yeah, I feel like we push this NX thing to the limit now.
No, but the audience seems to like it.
Yeah, that's why we talk about NX and Pokemon every week, because it's what gets 30 people watching at 10:30 on a Saturday. People in the chat are talking about what color they think the NX is going to be. It'll probably be black or gray. It won't be
white.
pink. It won't be yellow. There might be a Pikachu edition. White makes sense. It would be nice if they did like a dark gray, like something like lead colored. That would make sense.
New Galaxy style. There we go.
I like the Galaxy style. Maybe like a fancy like maroon or purple. I don't know. We'll see. I just hope they do something other than black or white this time. Anyways, Pokemon news. We have new Pokemon version exclusive. Sun version receives Passaman. That's not the one with the blanket over him, right? That's the one who throws the berries.
That's the Passaman's the one who looks like a rugby player.
Okay, so Passaman's the rugby player who's just a pure fighting type who has the new ability Receiver, which allows it to inherit the abilities of fallen partners in a double battle. That was pretty cool. Who's the other monkey? Moon version will have Oranguru, who is already being dubbed as Harambe for Sun and Moon. He's normal psychic type. Inner Focus and Telepathy as its abilities. It has Instruct, which is a special move only it knows, allowing it to use its partner to attack twice in a round in a double battle. Moon will also have the Midnight form of Lycanroc, which is the evolution of Rockruff. You get the midday form of Lycanroc. So Rockruff has a split evolution, version exclusive. It's called Lycanroc. The midday form, which is on Sun, looks kind of like the Mightyena almost. Like it's just kind of like the normal type evolution, or that's what it looks like. And then Moon version gets the midnight form of Lycanroc, which is the much cooler one, but also the slightly edgier one, if we're being honest.
Yeah, although I prefer the midday form just because it has that exclusive move, Accelerock. Accelerock, which is a rock type priority move. And Sunwear Talonflame prize.
Ooh. It's okay, so that's what people were talking about with Talonflame all this week. Because it was like, why are we talking about it? It's like, okay, so Talonflame has been coming up for that. There are new Z moves for Eevee, Extreme Evo Boost, which summons all Eevee evolutions to double all of Eevee's stats, which is sick, and also that's the Mega Man Final Smash.
Yeah, and if you're wondering about the usefulness of that, well, I will point out that all Eevee forms learn Baton Pass.
That's not. I was hoping. I think a much better one for Eevee, although this could be broken, would just be to max out all of its stats.
Yeah, that would be a little bit nasty.
I don't mean like literally going to the IVs. I just mean like literally all like max out the stat boosts on every single stat. Which, how dirty do you think that Eevee would be? Do you think that would like be able to compete in Ubers?
Only if it could, like, if those were passable and like the Extreme Evo Boost apparently will be, that could get very nasty very quickly. If it couldn't be, like if it's stuck Eevee in there for the rest of the fight, doesn't have the greatest move pool variety, but I think it would have enough to maybe do some damage in higher tiers.
A double edge from a maxed out Eevee would hurt basically any Pokemon that wasn't Rock type or Ghost type.
And would probably kill Eevee in the recoil.
No guts, no glory. Pikachu also has Catastrophica, which is a sick move. It is highly damaging. And it's basically just Pikachu dancing with its partner, and then it just like summons this electrical blast from the sky. I'm actually gonna rewatch it now.
After the trainer throws it in the air,
which is a total Ash Ketchum move. So yeah, she throws Pikachu into the air. Pikachu turns into an electric ball. She punches the sky, and then Pikachu summons a real ass lightning blast. And that's a sick looking move. I'm a fan. I think Pikachu needs a Mega Evolution, but we'll see if Pokemon even get Mega Evolutions this time around.
There was something about that from a Japanese article, I think in V-Jump magazine, where they mentioned Django, the dragon type that has soundproof.
Yeah.
And one of the moves that it could block was Hyper Voice from a Mega Gardevoir.
Oh. I mean, I like Mega Evolutions will transfer. I just don't know if there will be any new ones.
Yeah, I'm thinking probably not.
I don't think. Yeah, go ahead.
I just want them to be available for post game because I really want an excuse to try out Mega Beedrill.
Yes, Mega Beedrill is sick. The other thing is, I don't think Mega Evolution is a failure. I think Mega Evolution has been an overall positive to the competitive scene of Pokemon, or at least that's the impression I got. Donald, you're a little more into the competitive side of this. What have you noticed?
My observation, because I don't play competitively myself, but I'm part of some of those communities, mainly for their off-topic stuff. But I see the prime complaint is, okay, Mega Evolution's great, but can we nerf friggin' Mega Kangaskhan?
Mega Kangaskhan. It's so weird that Kangaskhan is like on every winning team at like the World Championships last year.
Yeah, because that parental bond move is like that ability needs a nerf if it's just to make things like to make it balanced. And even at half damage on the second hit, it's basically he gets to do 2 hits of fighting damage and Swords Dance every turn.
That is dirty. Imagine that, and then plus a baton past Extreme Evo Boost.
Yeah.
From a get a return from a full friendship Kangaskhan.
The first thing I'd be pulling out at that point would probably be Clefable with Unaware. Which makes I don't care about those stat boosts.
Yeah. Oh, and then Pokemon Amiibo called Pokemon Refresh this time. You can do a couple different things. In a separate announcement, it was shown that Pokemon Bank and Transporter will receive Sun and Moon compatibility updates early next year. I think they said January.
Yeah.
Bank will be used to move Pokemon from XY, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, while Transporter will be used to move Pokemon from the VC releases of Red, Blue, Yellow. Yeah, that's all good and well.
I was thinking I would move in my living Pokedex into to Sun and Moon right at the start, but you know what? A couple months to learn the new guys and have sort of a clean game before we start bringing in the stuff that's blatantly hacked from X and Y. That seems like a fair trade-off.
Posey asks, does Pikachu still have the annoying anime voice like in X and Y? The answer is yes, but also I'm kind of totally a fan of it. And it's actually like kind of an adorable gimmick for Pikachu. The other thing I had to say, Pokemon Generations is pretty good. It's basically looking at various scenes from the Pokemon games from a different angle. from like a story-driven angle, and they show something that you don't see in the games. So it was one of the first episodes was it was showing Giovanni at the end of Red, Blue, Yellow, and like Looker was trying to hunt him down, and then it was basically showing what happens right after Giovanni gets beaten by Blue and Red in the original games, and it shows Looker trying to hunt him down, and that was really cool. The other ones are I know there's the one that just came out like a few days ago, which is Blue's conquest over the original Elite Four. They also showed, like, which you don't see, like that's obviously off screen. And then what's the first episode again, or the other episode?
I haven't actually watched it myself. I'm waiting.
You haven't actually watched it? So did you see that Red and Blue anime from a few years ago? The one where like he actually catches the Mewtwo?
Yeah, the Pokemon Origins. Yeah, I did see that. It's sort of more of that.
It's more of that. So the animation isn't great, the voice acting is bad, and the story is super iffy. It's. I'm not a yeah.
The Pokemon games as a whole, the story in all of them is really iffy.
I think the way it adapted it was iffy. And this has some issues, but the first episode shows Red with his Pikachu going through some of the just some key moments, like it shows Pikachu fighting Regigigas. It basically implies that Red went on a full adventure across all of the regions, much like all of us did with the video games. And the second episode is Looker trying to hunt down Giovanni. The third one is Blue going through the Elite Four. Now, the one I really want, Donald, which I think would be a really good one, because I'm guessing these count as like semi-canonical.
Yeah.
Is Red going up to Mount Silver, and also the follow-up to the battle against Silver.
Like the follow-up to after your character.
After you, basically what happens leading up to Red basically secluding himself on Mount Silver, to the battle on Mount Silver, to what happens right after. I think like if there's any moment that happens off screen that you can adapt to something like this, that's got to be the Holy Grail, right?
Yeah.
Like that is the key story moment of that entire series, I think. But there's going to be like 20 of these, I think. Or there might not be 20, but it's going through like the end of December, like December 20th or something. So there will probably be 8 or 9 more. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like that sounds like something I'll probably like binge watch over Christmas.
It's especially for you. I think this is a good watch. And then also you get to see Zygarde, which is that's 100%. That's not actually called Mega Zygarde, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Although the first place I ever saw Mega Zygarde was Pokemon Shuffle. So what does that tell you?
Yeah. Okay. That is all we got for Pokemon. We have just 2 more things I want to talk about. Dragon Ball Fusions is coming to North America December 13th. It was a relatively recent announcement. It's coming out from Bandai Namco. It is a Dragon Ball RPG, actually a relatively fully fledged RPG.
Right.
That features a player-creatable protagonist who you can fuse with a lot of different characters. And then my favorite scene from the trailer is when it shows, basically, I think it might have been like Trunks, Goten, and all these different guys, and it was like a 5-way fusion, which is pretty sick.
Yeah, I think it's actually developed by Ganbarian, who were the team behind Pandora's Tower as well for the Wii. So good RPG background in there. I'm not a Dragon Ball Z guy, but I think I know somebody who is that might enjoy this.
Is Brian our other Dragon Ball guy?
I think so.
Yeah, I like a little Dragon Ball too. Fusions is great. Fusions looks great. I hope it comes out and turns out well. Let's see. That's the only thing I wanted to briefly mention. And then our final story is a really weird story. That if it was a marketing move from Nintendo, which it wasn't, it would be really crazy. But alas, it wasn't. Paper Mario Color Splash, the preload unlocked yesterday.
Yeah, because Nintendo put their games up for retail, the retail games up for preload 2 weeks before if you want to get in on them early. And Friday morning, very early, somebody who had preloaded the game discovered, wait a minute, this is loading, this is running, and that was about I think 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Mm.
And that, so I get up because I'm an hour ahead, and I see this on Twitter. It's like, okay, I'm gonna try this. I bought the game full price
On
and
digitally, no less.
digitally, and I haven't played it, but I have a fully functional copy of Paper Mario Color Splash on my Wii U right now. In related news, my Wii U is offline until October 7th.
I think Nintendo's quote unquote conclusion for that, they said it was an accident and they pulled it down from the eShop and they just said, hey, you can come back and buy it October 7th. But the people who have it now, I'm under the impression that Nintendo isn't going to relock the game for them. Because that would just
No,
be a nightmare for Nintendo, and also, even though Paper Mario is kind of the big Wii U fall game, it's still only like a C plus B minus tier Nintendo game, like scale wise, audience wise.
yeah, I mean it looks really impressive, and I mean Sticker Star did pretty good numbers, and Super Paper Mario is actually the best-selling Paper Mario game. But they had,
By
but
far, too, isn't it? Like by far.
yeah, like I think it's like I don't think either of the RPGs actually they were around 1 million, but Super Paper Mario was like 5 million, and Sticker Star was 2.5. But Sticker Star also hit the Bomba bin really quickly.
$8 at one point.
Yeah. So I actually haven't had a chance to play just because I got like 3 games this week, and I still have Dragon Quest 7 to play, and there's a review that's going up Monday that I had to work on as well. So I haven't had as much chance to put time into that as I would. But from what I'm hearing is the main reason I was looking into this game was because it seemed like Intelligent Systems had done some really good drugs, and yeah, that's coming through big time.
Yes. I was super down on Color Splash when it was initially announced, like obnoxiously down on this game. There are two thoughts going through my head right now. The first is I kind of want to replay Sticker Star just a little bit to see if it's as bad as everyone was saying or if it was just disappointing hitting us. Because I almost look back on Sticker Star semi-nostalgically now, even though it's only a couple of years old, because I remember that game being really colorful and still having a good sense of humor despite its bare bones approach and its world map. And Color Splash seems like it has a great personality to it. I was reading some impressions on NeoGAF, and I don't have the game. Someone else on this site is going to be reviewing the game. I'm not sure who. This is not me playing the game. This is not any like full representation of Nintendo World Report's opinions on the game. But I was reading people on NeoGAF talking about the game who's playing it. And they're saying that it is better than Sticker Star. The battle system is kind of useless early on, but it also has a really good sense of personality to it. That said, it brings back the world map, and I'm pretty sure the Koopalings are the main bosses this time around. I'm not sure, but that's the impression I get.
Yeah, they showed the Koopa kids being battled at E3. Like I think the big one was a fight against Morton where you had to pull out like a gigantic fire extinguisher to beat them.
The Koopalings might be Nintendo's greatest mistake of the last 10 years.
Well, you mean bringing them back? Because I mean, they were fine.
No. They were fine in like the classic games because Mario didn't even have boss battles at that time, so that was actually super creative. Bringing them back over the last 10 years and making them the only boss battles in what must be a half dozen different Mario games at least. That's tragic.
But I mean, what was the alternative before that? You disguise enemies as Bowser and battle Bowser 8 times?
No. The solutions to that are You got Super Mario 3D World, which had real boss fights, which is the one thing I will say that game has going for it is it has real ass boss fights. And you have the original New Super Mario Bros. Say what you want about that game, the boss fights were actually really fun for a 2D Mario game. And I would say the most creative bosses a 2D Mario game has ever actually had. Uh, but yeah, I think that color covers.
Yeah, the only other thing I'm curious about is how this can happen. I mean, I don't know if if the unlock key went out 4 days early, like 2 weeks early, or if like they instead of uploading the preload file, they uploaded the full game. Because I mean, the way I've preloaded multiple games on my Wii U and 3DS, and this is the first time I can think of that's ever happened. I started doing that with Smash Brothers on Wii U.
Let me ask you this: do you think preload is a checkbox on Nintendo's side, or do you think it's a file you have to upload?
I think basically because the way it unlocks is basically there's a small update that hits at midnight Eastern time the night the game comes out.
Mm-hmm.
My thinking is they uploaded they uploaded the locked file but uploaded the unlocker too early, or they just unlocked like the base game like it was a regular eShop game as opposed to a retail game.
So you think there might be 100 kilobyte file?
Yeah, pretty much. That basically instead of it eliminates the timer, undoes whatever encryption they put on, and gives you access to the game at 12:01 a.m. Eastern.
Basically, what so many 360 and PS3 games were doing way back then when is
Yeah.
basically demos with a 100 kilobyte unlocker. Yeah.
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 Strange.
I think that's it. It's just a weird story.
Yeah, and I'm gonna try to play some of that as well, but I'm not on the review for it, so I'll sort of keep things to myself for the most part until we actually have the review.
Yeah. Read Don's impressions to anyone watching this. Read Don's impressions. Go to that NeoGAF thread. Read what other people are saying if you're interested in Color Splash. We'll have a review probably in the next week or two. I don't actually know what the embargo is. I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but I also don't actually know. We'll have a review sooner or later. What else do we got coming in the pipeline? Donald, you got a game that we're getting a review for soon. I don't know if that's a secret that exists.
It is a game that is coming out on Tuesday. The review for it will be out Monday. But there's a lot of games coming out this week, especially on 3DS, so we'll probably have reviews of that throughout the week.
It is a follow-up to a very beloved NES game. Yeah. I'm not going to say what it is, but you may cry a river of tears of joy after playing this game. I don't know if it's actually good or not yet, but you'll have to find out Tuesday, right?
Monday for mine. But okay. There's also Sonic Boom, which Sega has apparently trying to bury.
Are you playing that?
I was until they announced that the reviews weren't coming out until the day the game arrived. So I'm gonna hold. If Sega has no confidence in that game, I don't have confidence in it either. But if it turns out to be good, like Sanzaru's last non-Sonic Boom game, then I'll give it a shot.
They're holding review copies until the day it comes out.
They're holding the review embargo is launch day.
That happens more often now. I wouldn't hold that necessarily against them. They're probably just justifiably gun shy after reception to their shitty last games. But what was I gonna say? I
just hope Color Splash doesn't have the same thing, because Nintendo did that with another controversial game that will end up being in the Game of the Year discussion, and that really irked me.
But we got someone on staff playing that right now. That Sonic Boom game.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll find out who it is and track them down. And also, I think I have Yokai Watch coming my way. You will be able to read more about that around the game's launch day. We'll see if I can get a review. They sent it to us a little close to a little close to date. I don't know how the game is yet. I hear it's much better. I never beat Yokai Watch 1, but I bet it's a game I don't need to play first to understand Yokai Watch 2 because it's trying to be Pokemon.
Yeah, there's demos for 1 and 2 on the eShop if you need some practice.
Oh yeah, those demos are out now. Nice. So we get some stuff coming down the pipeline. That's our show. Thank you very much for watching. Patreon.com/NWR. You can find Donald on Twitter at DonaldMick, DonaldMick. Also, NFR Podcast is other podcast. I am on Twitter at CULAFIA. See you next week with more Pokemon and NX news. Have a good Saturday. Enjoy your Saturday, guys. And
bye.
See you later. Bye.